Dr. Eric Kelly III and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest Black business showcases in the world. It is an opportunity for businesses and companies to showcase their businesses globally. We are going to be giving away laptops up to $5,000 away to students. Again, I'm Olivia Appleberry, the founder of 2 Cents Finance and one of the speakers for the expo. I am so excited to see you there. For more info, go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090 and hope to see you there.
I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black business. I am Black business. Tell me, are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world! Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black business.
I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black business. I am Black business. Are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-380-9090. I am Black business. I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black business. I am Black business. Are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-380-9090. I am Black business. I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black business. I am Black business. Are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-380-9090. I am Black business.
Dr. Eric Kelly III and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school, all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest Black business showcases in the world. It is an opportunity for businesses and companies to showcase their businesses globally. We are going to be giving away laptops up to $5,000 away to students. Again, I'm Olivia Appleberry, the founder of 2 Cents Finance and one of the speakers for the expo. I am so excited to see you there. For more info, go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090 and hope to see you there.
I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black business. I am Black business. Tell me, are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world.
Hey, good morning, business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and corporations. Welcome to the Black Business Network. My name is Grant McGaw, CEO of 5-Star BDM, where we help you to build a 5-star brand that people will follow. I'm your business moderator for this morning on the Black Business Network. The Black Business Network is a 24-hour business network showcasing Black businesses, business owners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders worldwide. We have speakers from North Carolina, London, Singapore, Africa, Japan, and cities all over the United States. The Black Business Network is a global community sharing its business knowledge to empower, inspire, and educate businesses about business. Our next speaker is Charlisa Watson. Miss Watson is an award-winning senior leader with more than 30 years of management and consulting healthcare experience, analyzing, developing, and implementing concierge-level solutions for government and commercial customers. She has worked extensively in partnership with targeted private and public sector companies, employers, as well as with state and local government officials. She is the founder of Ni Almani Choices Incorporated, a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to providing healthcare resources to low-income women, children, and families all around the country. I present to you Charlisa Watson. And there she is.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing, Grant?
You know, I'm getting better and better as the morning goes on. But this is the moment I have been waiting for. This is Team 5-Star. And you are a 5-star speaker today. And guess what I get to do? Normally, I would have to introduce you and then I step away and then you would speak. We're going to do a fireside chat. Me and you are going to have a conversation about your success, about your experience and wisdom that you want to share with the audience. So we're going to get started just very quickly. tell us a little bit about yourself and why you feel you have been so successful in your space as an entrepreneur.
Well, thank you, Grant, again for the opportunity to be able to have this fireside chat with you this morning. I've been looking forward to it, looking forward to telling my personal story and my journey of how I've gotten to where I am today. My background is in healthcare. I started out my career in nursing many, many years ago. I also spent some time in the military. So I also, have that background as well. So I think the reason I want to bring both of those up, it'll kind of help you to understand where I am now and how I got to where I am. So I spent about 15 years in corporate America. And that was before I had even thought of being an entrepreneur. And over the years, I had always thought about, well, maybe I could do it. The timing isn't right. I raised 4 children, and I just kept saying to myself, can I do this? Can I make it happen? So after being downsized, I worked in corporate America. I was downsized from my last corporate position. And then I wondered, I was at a crossroads in my career. What am I going to do? Where am I going to go? I just was lost because, quite honestly, I still would have been in corporate America and had not, decided to become an entrepreneur had that not happened. But everything happens for a reason, right? So I decided to take the leap of faith. I had done some independent positions as an entrepreneur. I was a 1099 over the years. And once I wasn't in corporate America anymore, I had time. My children were all out of college. They had all grown up. They were all very successful. I was a empty nester. And I was having lunch with a friend one day who was also she was an entrepreneur, and she had been doing it for about 20 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked me a question that made me stop and think. She said, why are you working for other consulting firms? You have all this experience. You were a nurse. You served time in the military. You have business acumen. You've, worked for other companies, helping them to make money. So why not do it for yourself? So when she asked me, I said, and that was kind of when the light bulb went off. And I said, you know what? I am going to take the leap of faith. I then stepped out. I did some research, obviously. And I gave myself a 90-day plan. I said, within 90 days, I'm going to have my company, my initial company that I started, I'm going to have that company up and running, and I'm going to find out what I needed to do. I knew that I wanted to focus in the federal government space as well as the state and local government. So I did everything that I could to make sure that I had all of my certifications. I was registered on all of the right websites to do everything. But more importantly, what was really scary, I cashed in all of my retirement, my 401k, everything that I had saved, and I put it all on the line. And, I prayed about it. I talked with my family about it, and I took the leap of faith and jumped out there and started. So the first company I had for 7 years prior to merger and acquisition. And we were very successful. And then I started Vecra in 2020, right in the middle of a pandemic. So I guess I consider myself a serial entrepreneur now.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
7 years you ran your business, because you're being very modest. First of all, what a leap of faith. I mean, you're like, all right, you know what? I have worked, I've raised my children. It's my time now. This is me time now. And you listened when they said, why don't you make money for yourself? Not even just making money. Why don't you do something that makes you happy and gives you some enthusiasm and a sense of purpose for your life? And you took all the money out of the bank and said, okay, I'm going to do this. This is my investment. This is my seed capital. I'm a seed capital. I am my own investor. I'm going to invest in Charlisa. I'm going to invest. I'm going to make this happen. And then you did everything you needed to do, but you're in that federal space. You're being very kind because that 7-year run, tell us, how much what was your exit when you got out of that particular business?
So I grew the company we had an 80 million contract backlog when I sold the company. And that was within 7 years. My exit strategy was also always to sell the company, but I just didn't know it was going to happen that soon. But it worked out fine, right? 7 is the number for completion, right? So everything just aligned, the stars aligned, and I always knew I wasn't ready to retire, so I started another company. So I think for those 7 years, what it taught me, I learned a lot, number one, about what to do and what not to do. And it gave me the opportunity to be able to work with other experienced entrepreneurs that are in the space, those that really wanted to, be a mentor. I had an executive coach. I had a business coach that helped me to ensure that I was having a good work-life balance. Because when you're running a company, you want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself as well as your team and your employees and your customers. So that was very important to me. But those 7 years were amazing. I mean, I just, I feel like sometimes it was an out of body experience. But everything that happened from the time I got my first certification, I remember the first certification I sought was being an 8A. And, I went through the whole entire process with the SBA, which is 8A is a business development program. And I was able to successfully get that within 6 months, which was record time back then in 2013. And I remember the day that I received the email from the SBA, it popped in my screen, and that was my sign that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So once I got that first certification, I said, okay, I'm going in the right direction. And then I continued to apply for other certifications. And then I began to hire employees and bring people on because I knew I wanted to work on the business and not in the business.
Correct.
Which
Let
is
me ask you
important.
this. Let me ask you this. What exactly, because my audience is listening now. They say, oh, $80 million in 7 years. That's impressive. And that you went and you did your certifications. But what was the business? What were you doing that created that $80 million backlog?
Well, we won a large contract that was a single award task order contract. And it was providing medical coding, and it was working with the Army, with the military healthcare system. And that was our largest contract, and we bid on that in 2016. And I remember looking at the opportunity, and prior to that, we had other contracts, obviously, but they weren't that, they were smaller, but we had many of those that we were priming. So I remember the day that I went to my staff and I said, well, here's this opportunity that I'd like to bid on. And I said, I have subject matter experts. We can put together a great response. And everyone looked at me and they're like, we're a small company. I don't think small, by the way. I think large. Everyone that knows me knows that I don't think like a small business owner. And so we bid on it. And it was a woman-owned small business set aside, and we won it. We were one of 2 companies in the entire country that won that contract. And I was just, we were all just so excited. When we won it. Now, granted, it was a single award task order, so we had to bid on our bids, but just the fact that we took, again, another leap of faith and responded to the bid, we put together a great response, I put together a great team, and we knew what we were doing, and I understood the scope of work, because I'd been in healthcare for my entire career. So I'm saying all that to say that was the moment that, for me as a business owner, nothing is impossible. When you can do that. And we were a small business, and a lot of people didn't even know, we were one of 2 in the entire country. Think about that. We were a small business.
It's hard for me to imagine. And what you were doing, you took another leap of faith. But let me ask you this, because a lot of times entrepreneurs, they run into this problem. They may have won a large project. but can they fulfill it? Because are there products and their services? There's accounts receivable, there's accounts payable. All of a sudden, you've got this big behemoth, and if you don't have banking that could help you through some of the stretches you have to go through. Now, were you providing any kind of product? Or was it all services so that your cash outlay wasn't as exposed?
Yes, I was. So I had a great line of credit. As soon as we won the contract, I went to a bank. I had a great relationship with a financial institution, which is also very important, being a business owner. And I was able to obtain a line of credit to support the implementation of the contract. Because you bring up a good point. Just because you win the contract doesn't mean you can perform it and perform it well. So no, I think because of my business acumen, I've run, like I said, I've worked for large Fortune 500 companies and small, every gamut. So, I mean, I understand profitability and loss, and I know how to structure a company. I knew that I needed to get the capital. I knew that I needed to, ensure that we had the policies in place, the structure in place, the accountability. So again, I think because of my background coming out of corporate America and being able to do that for other organizations, it made it easy to do it for myself because of what I learned doing that. So I definitely think that attributes to our success.
Let's talk about advice to our entrepreneurs, because I already know they tuned in. They just leaned in to our discussion like, wow, because you see these bids that are out there. And the first thing I do is to make sure that you have gone through the certification process and registered yourself so you have the capacity or capability to actually submit a bid. Tell us some of the challenges that you came across as you're going through these things and like, wow, hindsight's 2020. What can you tell our audience about some things that they really need to tighten up before they can go after some of these bids?
Well, first of all, they need to make sure they have a solid foundation for their company. They have to make sure they have a solid infrastructure so that they can respond. I know a lot of business owners are afraid to step out there and hire staff, and they don't want the responsibility. But in order to grow and to scale and to go after those large bids, you have to take calculated risks. And that's what I do. That's what I did. That's what I do. So you have to weigh the benefits, versus the obstacles. Should I do this or not? So I think that, you want to ensure that you have the capital. You want to make sure you have the solid foundation. You want to make sure that you're able to respond to the customer once you get the contract. And they want to know who the owner of the company is. They want to see your face. They want to know who you are.
Yes.
And they want to know who they're dealing with. And so once you get the contract, that's just the beginning of the work. All the work, like you said, Grant, comes after that, and making sure that you can fulfill the opportunity and meet the service level agreement that's required in the contract.
Now, talk to us about the exit strategy. A lot of people, they want to get to that because that liquidity moment. Talk to us about that process and how, first you had to get exposure to it. I don't know if you've done it before, so, you had to go through that experience. What would you like to tell and share with our audience about that?
Well, I think you want to make sure that you have good records, right? You want to make sure you have a great accountant. You got to have a great attorney. Those are things that you must have as a business owner. I can't overemphasize that. You'll be required to provide a lot of documentation, about the company. And, they want to be able to see trends, positive trends, and, where the future of the company is going, not just where it is today, but where is it going tomorrow and next year? What are your plans? What's your strategy for your financial growth? What assets do you have? How many liabilities do you have? You want to make sure you keep your overhead down and your revenue up. You don't want to have too many, So I think all those things are important, and it's all part of the recipe, if you will. There's just not one single thing. But I think if your exit strategy is to one day to sell your company, you must make sure you have all those things in place. and that you're able to show profitability moving forward.
Now, here's a question. Here's my question I got for you. Is like, what was so attractive? Do you feel, just put yourself in the mind of the buyer, the person that bought your company. What was so attractive to them about your company that they would invest in you?
Because we focus primarily in the healthcare space, and there's a lot of companies out, that particularly that deal business with the federal government. I don't have a technical background, by the way, so I know there's a lot of companies that are in IT, but I love IT partners. I have very strong IT partners in technology, but I think healthcare is something that is always attractive to, potential buyers, or even, to potential clients and customers, because it's a different level of expertise, and it's something that is always needed. It doesn't matter what industry it is. You can always do everything within healthcare. So all of our key core capability areas can support healthcare in every environment, in every setting. So I think that's what makes it attractive. You have to, make yourself unique. What is it about you that's different from others? And who are your customers?
I tell
Who
you,
are you providing services
first of
to?
all, I'm so proud of you because you're telling me your journey started. You were in nursing. You're just in nursing. And then you started to get in, you work for other consultants, you started to get experience around business. And then you got to that point where you're in business for yourself. And then you are successful. I mean, you look back at that and like, you know what, if I didn't do anything, so you didn't take that leap of faith. You didn't take that calculated risk. You didn't take all the money you had and invest in yourself. Think about how different your life would be. How do you feel about your success?
Well, I feel very blessed. Every morning I wake up and I'm very thankful and feel so blessed that, of where I am, and where I can go. And I'm very excited about my new company that I started, Vecra. We're a full service management consulting firm. And I just wasn't ready to throw in the towel, after I sold the last company. I enjoy being an entrepreneur. There's a lot of risks, there's a lot of rewards. It can be exhausting, but I enjoy it. I have a great team that surrounds me every single day. I have a president. She runs the day-to-day operations, and she's phenomenal. And she, helps also with business development. So I focus on the growth strategy, and she focuses on, the operations, but we make a great team, and we have an awesome support staff team as well. And they all work very, very hard. We're up to 130 people already with my new
Wow.
company.
Wow.
And we just started. We're not even 3 years old yet.
Wow.
So that's 133 staff and consultants. They're, 99% of them are billable on contracts and work that we're doing, but they do a phenomenal job. But that just shows you the rapid growth that we've had with business number 2, right?
Yeah.
And we're in the same space. We have the same certifications. We don't have the 8A certification anymore because you can only have that once. So once you have that with one company, you can't have it again. But we don't need it. We're doing very well. I learned a lot in that 8A business development program, and it really has helped, to launch us to where we are now.
And you're still in that federal, state, like government space. That's your bread and butter.
That's our bread and butter, but we also do work with, private industry as well. And but primarily we're in the federal, state, and local government.
From a
Yes.
healthcare perspective.
Yes, we do healthcare, program management, staffing, training. We do language interpretation and translation, which is something new for us that we're really working hard. I have an outstanding program manager that manages that program. We do facilities management. So that's just kind of a snapshot of where we are and what we've been doing.
So tell me about since you are the growth strategist, where do you see this company going in the next 3 to 5 years?
Wow. I see this company in tripling its revenue where we are now. Tripling the revenue. I have very high goals. We already have a $100 million pipeline that we're tracking. that we're monitoring, and it's probably gone up since I last looked at it. I have a wonderful BD team as well, and they put all the data and give me the numbers. So I like data, I like numbers, but I try to stay at the high, at a 30,000 foot level and try not to get into the weeds. But staying at that 30,000 foot level helps to make sure I'm driving the company, that we're going in the direction that we need to go in. And 3 to 5 years, I see us as being just, like I said, tripling our revenue.
Well, let me ask you this. We have a lot of entrepreneurs on the call. They're listening in. And I'm trying to make sure I want to ask this right. Is that you're a management consulting firm? You will help entrepreneurs to traverse this federal, local, state government space?
Absolutely. I've had a lot of mentees, and I believe that, to whom much is given, much is required, right? So I never went into business for myself, just for me. I feel like the plan, God's plan for me was to have a business, but it's to take care of other people and to help other people. I feel like it's a natural thing for me. I guess I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit and just didn't didn't want to step out there in the beginning, but I was kind of pushed out there after I was downsized, but I'm glad that I got pushed out there. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. It's been a phenomenal ride. Yes, it's a lot of hard work, but yes, we're always, talking to other companies. And I always say I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. So I'm always working with companies that know more than I do too, so we can all learn from each other. But there's a lot of room there's a lot of room for all of us to be successful. And I always say it's better to have a seat at the table than be on the menu. So that's one of my so
Yeah.
my goal every day is to have a seat at the table and make sure that that we're helping others, that we're feeding others and not just ourselves. So because we do get, the blessings do come back to us.
But some of the common challenges and questions I get from entrepreneurs is like, man, I want to go after these bids, or I see them, but I don't have the relationship. I'm just, I might be it takes a lot of time to put together a bid package. And you've got to pick your battles. How do you pick your battles about how you're going to go after a particular opportunity?
Well, that's a great question. So generally, particularly during COVID, it's been a challenge trying to meet with everyone, right? To build relationships with contracting officers and different agencies. Everyone was remote. So what we've tried to focus on, we've kind of had to flip our script a little bit. So we haven't been able to do things. Well, now it's improving, but we can get in front of people more than we could in the past. So a lot of it obviously is virtual, right, with Zoom. And yes, I do agree that you must know the agency. You must, it definitely absolutely helps when you understand the customer, that you know the customer's mission and what they're buying. You have to know if what you're selling is what they're buying. They may not be buying what you're selling. So you have to be very intentional. You have to be very strategic and know which companies or which opportunities you want to go after. So we do a lot of research. We try to do a lot of intel to see, what do we know about the scope of work? Do we know about the customer? Does anyone know the contracting team? Does anyone know the program staff there and what their expectations are? So you have to take all of those things into consideration. Now, the irony of this all is that for the large contract that I won with the other company, we knew the customer, but we did not know the were program people per se, personally. But we bid on it and we won it anyway. So why am I saying that? I'm saying that to say that sometimes, again, you just have to take a risk. You have to take that, just bid on it. If you believe in your heart that you can do it and you can put together a great response, you have a great team to support the effort, then go ahead and bid on it anyway. And I do that quite a bit, and it really has helped. I mean, I try to balance. I don't do probably about 20%. I do that way, right? So, 80%, I probably don't, we probably make sure that we're doing this, but 20% we jump out there and do it. And then we work organically with that customer to make sure that we're, the next opportunities come out, they know who we are. So that is kind of a long answer to your question, but
No, that's a
hopefully I
good
answered
question
what you
because
asked
these
me.
are the things that, and then we talked about this, and I want our audience to really get into this because when I talk to you within a sentence or two, you always bring up you got to have faith. Sometimes you got to step out there where you don't actually know the outcome. You've got to take a calculated risk. And that is so hard in a volatile world that's changing rapidly. Take us through the process that you typically go through when you are about to take a calculated risk.
Oh boy, let me see how to answer that. A lot of it is my gut. I go by I think I have a great, spirit of discernment. So if it feels right, then I'll do it. If it doesn't feel right, then I won't. So it's just my gut feeling. I don't know if it's a woman's intuition or, what we want to call it, but it's
So
something
intuition
that
for sure.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of the way I live my whole life, and I've always lived that way. I'm always, I'm a positive person by nature. The glass is always half full to me. I don't look at anything as half empty. So I think it depends on the individual. And so it's kind of hard for me to answer that question in a broad manner, but I can tell you for me, it's my intuition, my gut. And I use that for everything, and it never fails me. If I don't listen to it, that's when something happens. I say I should have followed my gut, but I also talk to my team. I want everyone's buy-in too, right? I
Sure.
can't just go out there on the island by myself. So, but I have a great team, and I hire people. I surround myself with positivity.
Aha.
I
Yes.
don't surround myself with, so our team is positive. They work hard, so it's, to me, it's like if someone says no, or if the door closes, I'm like, okay, another one will open. That wasn't for us.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get something bigger. Something better will come. And
Well,
guess what? It does every time.
Well, I can see that you've been successful.
Yeah.
People realize that you've got to go through some failures in order to get you some success, but you've got to learn from these things so those things aren't repeated. But I want to ask about structure right now because you've talked about that and your team. How are you structured in your business? Or meaning your org chart? You have CEO, CMO. I mean, explain to us your team, your go-to team.
So I'm the founder and CEO, and then I hired a president. And she and I have worked together in the past. She's absolutely phenomenal. We work together very well. And so under her, we have different verticals within the organization. We have a vertical for each one of our capability areas, and then we have someone that leads each one of those verticals. And so that's the structure. And then we have an awesome, what we call our program specialists, program assistants that work with each of the verticals, and they support the lead that is on that vertical. That works very well for us. We have an awesome program proposal manager, and we just recently added a awesome, growth strategist, VP level position. But all these positions play an important role in what we do every day. Now, I know people are probably like, well, she's only less than 3 years old and she's brought all of those positions on already. But to me, I'd rather put the money up front to get that solid foundation in place, because then we can go anywhere, right? So instead of me and one other person trying to run the day-to-day operation, that's not effective. it can be stressful when you have to put out a lot of, money, expenses, but to me, it's an investment. I don't look at it as an expense. I look at it as an investment in the business, in the company. So that's the structure. It works really, really well. We operate like we're a large company. People, the structure allows for accountability, and we have great, reporting mechanisms in place. So we're able to maintain and monitor, and I trust every single one of them. So I don't need to be down in the weeds as the CEO. I'm comfortable with the management structure and with the organizational structure as we have it right now. And that allows me to focus on the horizon and, bring back opportunities that everyone will turn around and look at me and say, do you want us to bid on this? So those are the kind of things, that we do. That's the structure, but it works well for us.
I want to know about financial acumen. A lot of the business owners, they may know the expertise of the business that they're in. They're very, very good in providing a product or service especially an entrepreneur. Sometimes you're a solopreneur, right? But they don't always have the financial acumen, which is so important in business, understanding how money flows and the money talk. How did you get that type of knowledge, and how are you utilizing it today?
Well, I think again, when I've worked for companies where I've had large profit and loss responsibility, I had large budgets that I had to manage and oversee in corporate America. That definitely helped me, with my being an entrepreneur. Um, and that's another one of my key roles as founder and CEO is to manage the finances. I oversee it, but I have accountants, I have CPAs, I have a tax CPA, I have a CFO. So I stay on the money side, making sure the money is right and making sure that, we're moving forward as an organization. We have financial stability. So to answer your question, I think that that is just essential. I mean, it's crucial. You have to have that in place. And if you don't have that experience and background, then hire someone that does. Get with an accountant or someone that you trust that is familiar with working with small businesses and can be able to advise you not only from a tax perspective, but also with your financials on a regular basis. Because when you go to seek out funding for your company, that's the first thing the bank's going to ask you for. Let me see your financial statement. And you have to be able to understand it. You have to be able to explain, what is on there and why you're doing things the way that you're doing. So it's very, very important. So I stay very close to that part of the business. And that's, what my primary role is, to make sure that we have the resources so that the company can operate and function.
Very, very important. So you've got the finance arm, you've got that. From a marketing perspective, you say you've been in business now with Vecra for 3 years, and you were coming out of COVID, and you've grown to now 130 employees already. What was your marketing strategy to get to where you are now?
Well, we've done a lot of things virtually, just trying to virtually reach out. We don't sit back and wait for someone to call us. We reach out to agencies. We look at their pipeline to see what opportunities are coming down. But most importantly, we work on effective and efficient, relationships within the organization, working with the small business offices of targeted agencies to make sure that we understand, what their goals are. We look at what agencies have certain set asides that they may have not met, or that they're targeting. What is their targeted budget for, for example, for a woman-owned small business? We're certified in that arena. We're certified SDVOSB within, for VA opportunities. So those are things that you want to make sure, again, that if you have those, then you can go to agencies and you can market yourself. You can tell them what you're offering and, how you're going to be able to help them to become more efficient and provide cost-effective and quality, services for them.
No, that's awesome. Now, you're doing it not just on the federal level. Do you do it for cities as well? Do you look for city opportunities?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Federal, state, local, cities, private
Nationwide.
industry.
Nationwide. Now,
We
what?
don't leave anything off the table. Part of that is because I believe in diversification of revenue
Yeah,
streams.
right.
I've never wanted all of my, our revenue to come from one agency or from one industry. I think because then you're just closing yourself off, to opportunities. So
Good, good.
again, that may not be comfortable for a lot of business owners. I know some are much more conservative than I am. um and they may not want to step out and go to other agencies, or it could be overwhelming, but for us it works. So we have state contracts, we have federal contracts, we have, we're a subcontractor to large business, so we do it all.
And you are classified. So if I looked you up in the Federal Registry, let's just say VECRA, it's going to tell me that you are woman owned. It's going
Yes.
to tell me that you're a minority.
Yes.
What else will it tell me?
And service disabled, veteran owned small business as well.
Oh, wow. All right. So you're checking a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
Now, are you part of a lot of, I know like in Florida, we have the Florida Minority Supplier Council, and that helps. Are you part of those organizations on a nationwide level as well?
I'm not on a nationwide. A couple of them I am, and I do, want to go to the meetings. But again, a lot of everything's been virtual. But yeah, I'm not. I'm part of some of those organizations. Yes,
I know
absolutely.
you
And
come
we
from.
also have. Yeah, I was going to say we also have offices in 3 locations in Maryland, Virginia, and
Yeah,
Florida.
right, right. So
So we're spread out regionally as well. Yes.
You're DC. I mean, you made your bones in DC, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And we have commonality. People may not know that I met Charlisa through the National Association of Health Services Executives, and she was the first executive director some time ago. Did that organization help you, as you look back, did it help you to get to a different level?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a nonprofit and doing fundraising, again, having profit and loss responsibility, absolutely. So it's a great organization, and the opportunity to meet healthcare executives all across the country. So I have a great network and it's because of all my years, working and being in professional, but I believe in networking and working across the lines and across the country. So no, it's a great organization, and it was a great way for me to make connections, particularly in C-suites and different industries. So no, it works out very well within the healthcare industry.
Well, we've only got a few minutes left, and I want to make sure we don't leave anything off the table, that we cover the ground. So I want to give the mic to you as you think about some things that we have not talked about that you really feel is important. What would you like to share?
Well, I'd like to share. I've got some tips here that I want to read off, because I think these are things, and they're not in any particular order, but I think they're my little tips, my little words of wisdom, if you will. And they're not in, like I said, they're not in any order of priority. But the first thing I want to make sure of is that as an entrepreneur, you have to create a plan and you have to work the plan, right? You have to be focused and strategic. Another thing I always say is begin with the end in mind.
Mhm.
Keep the faith and believe. I said that all the time. Yeah, I've said that throughout my conversation, because that is what guides my life daily. Find a personal coach. Have a clarity of vision that is aligned with personal, professional, relational, spiritual, mental, and soul goals. Organize a corporate advisory board. That was essential for me, particularly with my last company, and I'm forming one now as well with Beck. Just awesome. People that you trust. Live deliberately. Make each day count towards your mission and your vision. Be able to clearly articulate your mission and vision to your potential clients. I said this earlier too, to whom much is given, much is required, but be sure to give back. So you mentioned that I started a nonprofit 501c3 earlier, and that was very important to me. And in fact, I started the nonprofit and the for-profit on the exact same day.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I wanted to make sure I'm holding to that commitment to give back. Tell your story to others. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Tell them, so you never know who you may inspire one day when you do that. I mentioned take calculated risks, weighing the pros and cons. We talked about that earlier. Be prepared for peaks and valleys because you're going to have some. You're going to have some long hours and some sleepless nights. Mm-hmm. And what do you want as a business owner? What do you want people to remember about you? And how do you want to position yourself in the market? We were very deliberate. I'm very deliberate that we are primarily a health management consulting firm, but we provide these other, wraparound services to other agencies as well, and within the healthcare industry. Be present and available, easily accessible to your client. And that's particularly important, not just in the federal government space, but any space that you're within. Be patient and don't give up. Take care of yourself. That is so important, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else. Try to maintain. So for that, you need to maintain a work-life balance, or blend, as some people say, a good work-life balance and blend. Yep. Create your brand. And I know 5-Star Media, that's right. That's Grant can help you to do that. Look and feel of your website. Make sure you keep everything fresh and updated. And I mentioned earlier, get a good accountant and attorney. I can't overemphasize that. Make sure you have a good banking relationship. And make sure you have enough cash on hand to sustain operations for at least 60 days. Because when you get that contract, when you kick off that new contract, you're going to have people working on it for 30 days before you actually do your invoice. And then you have to wait up to 30 days to get your money. So you have to be able to sustain at least 60 days operationally. All right. Build a solid foundation.
They're kicking us off the network now.
They're kicking us up. Okay. Well, that's all that I have.
Yep.
But last but not least, make it happen. Don't sit there. Take the leap of faith. So thank you for the opportunity.
This has been wonderful, Charlisa. You are an inspiration. I really love that you took the time to share. You are giving back to us. You're giving back to our entire community. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
That's my pleasure. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Oh, yes. Genius is common, and I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
The Black Business Expo's mission is to raise funds for high school seniors going to college or K-12 entrepreneurs. This expo is a fundraiser for students. Please, you may go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com to donate to the scholarship fund or use the Cash App at $BBX USA. Our goal is to give laptops and up to $5,000 to 10 students. Students can register online at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com. Every dollar counts. Please donate to the Black Business Expo USA Scholarship Fund.